What's up, guys? Crypto Trader Mitch, and it might be beginning to look a lot like Bitmas. Is Bitcoin going to go on sale for us coming into Christmas? It looks like it might. So, I actually drew some old trends and some current support levels on the Bitcoin chart to put things in perspective. So, if you look at the bottom of the chart, I have a ascending channel, aka uptrend, that Bitcoin was in starting in mid-July into November, and then it basically broke out and then started this crazy move. So you see I drew another line here to basically show the price appreciation and essentially this aggressive vertical trend where it popped up, consolidated, popped up, consolidated, popped up, and then went vertical. So even if Bitcoin had stayed in this trend, right, which is still nice growth, right? We're talking, boom, it'd be about not even 8K yet, 7,800, not even. Yeah, no, it'd be like more like 7,500. It'd be about in this area. And that's good appreciation. I mean, we're talking, shit, it's like 20%. Um, Obviously, we got this huge rip. The first pullback made another run at 20K, came a little short depending on what exchange you look at. This is Coinbase. Now we've gotten a pullback. I mentioned that the first stopping point would be these prior little tops. Obviously not strong support or anything, but your first point of reference, it blasted through that. And now you have these lows, which is when we got our bullish U-turn entry. And hopefully everyone took their money on the trade when this thing got up to the all-time highs. Because if you didn't, you just gave all that money back. So now, obviously, we have support here at like 15.2, 15.3. And the question is it going to pull all the way down there? You see there's this intraday spike, which I would ignore kind of this because this is only on Coinbase. All the other exchanges, it got to maybe just under 16. It never actually breached 15.2, 15.3 at all. So bottom line is this is why we pay attention to opening and closing prices, because we want to make sure it does not close above 15.2 because below, because if it does close below 15.2, that would be bad news. I would not mind seeing it actually test this support to, one, validate it, and two, that would bring it basically back in line with this most recent trend. And then at least it can be, this is still a very aggressive trend, but at least it can be in an orderly uptrend as opposed to this craziness. So it'll be interesting to see if it manages to bounce here after having, this little spike. Even on the other exchanges, like I said, it did spike under 16, just not as far. So it could just rally here, but at the same time, coming down to 15.2 would not be the worst thing, and I would look at it as a buying opportunity. If it gets down there, I'll probably add some and then see if it's gonna, hold that level or not. And it would just make it so much more orderly. I know it sounds crazy, but I'd be more bullish on Bitcoin if it actually pulled back to 15.2 and tested this level and held it before it moved higher. We'll see what happens though. Obviously, if it closes below there, then things can get ugly. It can push all the way down. If it happens quick, we can push all the way down to this trend line. We're talking in the 13s, or maybe it tests these lows, these intraday spikes here on that last reversal. So you're looking at 13.5 possibilities, and you need to be prepared for these possibilities. So I am still just holding what I have. Like I said, I have a long-term position that I trade around, so that long-term position I am still holding, and I will add if it gets down to 15.2, and then if it breaks lower, I will evaluate again. But I wanted to point all this out so you have a perspective. You had a nice, good, steady uptrend, then it got super aggressive, and then it just went parabolic, vertical, and we got a pullback, another push, pullback, and people are freaking out because of this. And the bottom line is, even if it pulls back to 14,000, that's still in the stratosphere area, so to speak, from when it freaking went nutso. So I'm not worried about it. Like I said, I actually kind of hope it pulls back so I can get a discount. It would be like a Christmas present. And that's the deal with Bitcoin. I'm going to take a look at Ethereum real quick. Also, Ethereum is behaving much better. I mean, we had this prior resistance I talked about when it was in this range and in the triangle. You can see from the bottom line. I'm not going to redraw the top line. You can see it from my cursor. Um, it broke out, consolidated, and then it made a big leg up. Little consolidation, legged up again, and it actually is just kind of consolidating again like it did on this one. So Ethereum might be poised right here to make a run at 1,000, which, those big round numbers are always magnets. So I could see Ethereum making a run after just a short consolidation, which, kind of similar to this move right here. Short consolidation, we could see that. Obviously, we could see it pull back and test this 700 as a support. So again, you always have to have your levels pointed out ahead of time and already decide how you're going to react when they get there. You can't be figuring that out when it happens, because the bottom line is A, you'll be scrambling, and B, your emotions are going to be ramped up in the moment and you're not going to make as good of choices. So I'm, again, Ethereum, another long-term position I have, and I'm just holding. I had added some on this last dip. I had some other coins I was selling off, just trying to roll those profits into Ethereum. So rock and roll with Ethereum. Again, same thing though. Look, you see it was just kind of on this uptrend and then went parabolic. So even if it did pull back, not the end of the world. I mean, this trend was solid, and then it finally broke out from these tops. So this thing can continue. I mean, Ethereum technically could crater all the way down to like 450, and it would still be in this long-term uptrend. That's what blows my mind about these cryptos. I mean, they've accelerated so far, and people are like freaking out, like, "Oh my God, it pulled back 100 points." I'm like, dude, it's tripled in like 3 weeks. Anyway, like I said, I'm hoping it makes a run at 1,000. When it gets there, I don't know what to do. I might actually take some profits off, because a lot of times you get to these round numbers, you blow through them, and then they pull back. Um, it happened with Amazon stock when it got to 1,000, to use an example. And I remember actually making that trade. I traded that like magnet move to 1,000, and when it pushed through, I sold, and it spiked a little higher, pulled back, and then it was under 1,000 for a couple months before it finally got above it. And now since made headway. Just to give you a comparison of the way a stock would trade, which cryptos aren't too different. I'll take a quick look at Litecoin. Kind of same deal as Ethereum. I mean, we got this crazy vertical move, pullback, made a new closing high, it's pulled back. Obviously, best case, we see it stay above 285. This, the last opening closing low. That's always the best bullish scenario. If it was to pull below there, there's nothing here. There's a lot of room before we have any support. I mean, 100 is basically the support. Maybe a $1.50, you got a little consolidation here, but, by then it could turn it at any point, so I'd like to just see it stay above 280 and make life easy, and then hopefully push to new highs. Like I said, it made a new closing high, but not a new all-time intraday high. So your upside target is still this all-time intraday high at 420 or so. We shall see what happens. We are just getting consolidation of late, and maybe that'll continue through Christmas. I would be surprised if we don't get some kind of pump like the week after, that week basically of Christmas, the rest of the week, because a lot of people are going to be getting together over the holidays, and they're going to be talking Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum, and people that aren't in it are going to be signing up for Coinbase and buying a little Bitcoin or buying a little Litecoin. And hell, I hope you send them my Coinbase link, and they can make their free $10 when they buy at least $100 of Coinbase. I will put that link in the show notes, along with the link to James Altucher's masterclass, where he focuses on the cheap altcoins that are set to explode. That's kind of what his deal is. And bottom line is, that is a different investment in that you're not going to make 20, 30, 40x on Bitcoin at this point. That ship has sailed. You need to get in 2013. I would say the same thing for Ethereum and even Litecoin. Even if Litecoin goes to 1,000, I mean, you're talking 3-4 times your money if it goes, cracks 1,000. So finding the coins that are, sub $5, sub $10, but especially sub 5, and even sub 1, that are going to pick up momentum, that are essentially going to pick up an audience, pick up an investor niche. Those can make you the 10x, 20x returns, and that's pretty much one of the things James Altucher focuses on in his course, along with a bunch of other crap that he gives away. That's funny I said crap. I mean that in a good way. He has a couple of books he gives you, and also some stock-related advice in terms of societal trends. So anyway, enough rambling about that. Like I said, I'll put all that stuff in the links for the video show notes, and I will have another video for you sometime in the near future. A lot of traveling this week, holidays, good times. But if we get crazy with crypto action, I'll make some videos happen. I'll find the time if there is the information to share. All right, Crypto Trader Mitch. Merry Christmas. I'm out.